Craft show season is quickly coming up, and I have quite a few of these small panels that need to be framed. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is showing you a dead simple way using an inexpensive material to trim this all out and make it a little more professional. So stay tuned. So the material that I'm going to be using is this. This is PVC corner molding, and you can find it at any of the box stores. And the reason why I'm going with this is, number one, it doesn't require a lot of prep work or finish work, but it does have its drawbacks, which I'm going to talk about all throughout this video. Drawback number one, though, as you can see, this stuff is flimsy. It's floppy, it's kind of unwieldy to work with. So in order to cut this precisely and accurately, we need to build an auxiliary fence for the miter saw to support this material while we make our cuts. Now, it just so happens that I kind of lucked out here in that I have a couple of offcuts from previous projects. This is nothing more than 1/2-inch plywood material. This piece here, I don't know how long it is, 40, 50 inches, and then a smaller offcut here. Now, to secure all of this, to assemble it, I'm not going to use glue, screws, anything like that. We are just simply going to use some double stick tape. We're going to stick the base down to the bed of the saw, and then put some double side tape here on the back side, and bam, slap it right up against the fence. Easy peasy, quick little auxiliary fence. All right, now that we have our rudimentary fence together, an issue is going to come up. So when you are making your initial cut, obviously you can just butt one edge right up against the fence, boom, make your cut, that's fine. However, I don't like to swivel my miter saw back and forth. I think that's going to distort, my cut area, and I'm going to lose zero clearance. So that means in order to get the opposing miter, I have to flip the piece 90 degrees. And as you can see, I'm either gonna have to get my hand really, really close to the fence to support this, which is dangerous, or I'm gonna have to come up with another piece of material here to be able to rest this piece on, which I have right here. Yes, it's walnut, but I don't care because I know that this is flat square because it came from a previous job. So all I'm going to do, again, is just double side tape this piece down. That way I can lift it off and I don't have to fire a whole bunch of brad nails into it. And that then will then allow me to rest the piece like this to be able to make my opposing miter cut. All right, now that my fence is all ready to go, I've got the saw plugged in, and get my hearing protection on, I can make my initial cut. That'll establish my kerf line, and then from there, we can start to cut our trim pieces. Now, before I start going hog wild with making all of my cuts, I need to determine what the dimensions of my panels are. And in the case of these panels, it is 10 3/4 by 10 3/4. Perfect. I am gonna be shooting for an 1/8-inch reveal on all four sides, which means I need to cut my pieces 1/4 inch wider than my dimensions. So I need to set a stop block at 11 inches, and then that will give me the reveal that I'm after. All right, now that we have all of our pieces cut, here comes the tedious bit. And this is admittedly another downside to this method. We aren't using wood, so wood glue isn't going to work, and because this is PVC, you could obviously use PVC cement, but that stuff stinks to high heaven, and we want to get these things together as quickly as possible. So that means good old CA glue. Make sure that you have at least a medium, maybe even a thick, and make sure you've got your activator on hand, because we want to get glue into the seam, get it together, and spritz it with the activator to get that instant bond. Now, the CA glue in and of itself is not going to give this frame that much strength. Because we are creating essentially a shadow frame, we're going to need to pop some holes in here and screw our panels in from the underside or the backside. That's really what's going to give this whole frame its rigidity. So we got to get to gluing.
Very quickly to explain how I went about gluing up these frames. Essentially, I would work from one corner to the next, and so on and so forth. I had my activator very close at hand so that I could apply glue to one corner, butt the corner together, get that instant hold. And what you'll see also in the footage is that I was moving the piece around as that glue was setting, and that is intended so that, well, I didn't glue my frame to my substrate. So it's tedious, but it doesn't take very long, maybe 2 to 3 minutes to get a frame together. To secure the panel to the frame, I am using number 6 half-inch screws. The panels themselves were made out of half-inch plywood, and the material itself of this corner molding is very thin. I would say less than, I don't know, maybe 3/16 of an inch. It's not very thick at all. So half-inch screws should be more than sufficient to anchor the panel to the frame, and ultimately the screwed-in panel is going to give the rigidity to the frame.
All right, so I'm all finished up with this set, and I really like this material. I think it does a decent job of just creating a quick and easy little shadow frame. And as far as a financial breakdown, each one of those 8-foot sticks was approximately $5.50. So because of the dimensions of my panels, I was able to frame 2 panels out of one 8-foot stick. So that equals out to $2.75, $3 a frame, not too shabby. Just to kind of reiterate some of the drawbacks here. The glue ups can be finicky, and because this is PVC, it tends to be pretty clingy as far as dust is concerned. So make sure you've got a rag on hand to clean everything off before you go out to a show. Secondarily to this, the corners, you can get some nibs on them, but with some fine grit sandpaper, you can knock those off, and that kind of solves that issue. But for a quick and easy frame, no painting, no staining, no sealing of any kind, this does the trick. And if you can get your measurements nice and tight, you can also make that barcode that's printed on the inside of the frame non-existent, out of sight, out of mind. So there we go, guys. You guys can do with it what you will. I'm gonna keep at it because I've got about 20 more of these that I gotta frame. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
If you'd like to see more of my work, please visit my website, which is linked in the description below. There you can see my past builds as well as order my artwork. All of my artwork is semi-customizable, so if you enjoy a design but would like it tailored to your needs, drop me a line. I'd be happy to discuss what you have in mind. Thanks for watching.